No, you're absolutely right. And I want to take a minute to kind of expand on this a little bit. Because when Trump got into office, right, he was building off all the lies that have been built up around Barack Obama, whether it's his birth certificate or Obama being the Antichrist himself. Trump was painted out to be some kind of savior, right? A chosen instrument of God's will. A divine agent is what they call him. A divine agent in God's fight against good versus evil. Now, Trump won about 80% of the white evangelical vote. And the evangelicals have always waged a war on fucking reality, otherwise they wouldn't be able to get anyone to follow their fucking teachings. Because the evangelicals aren't anything close to being fucking Christ-like. This is a cult, essentially. But shortly after he took office, in October 2017, on 4chan, we started seeing fucking posts by this guy who was anonymous with secret Q-level security clearance. And these posts communicated that, there was operations well on our way to arrest Hillary Clinton, and that there was a secret plan being carried out by Trump and America's intelligence and military was completely underway. And obviously this phenomenon would be called what we now know as QAnon. And QAnon, like the evangelicals, provided an alternate reality in which Trump was some unrelenting warrior on behalf of the fucking people. A secret war was being waged by the forces of good against the satanic cabal of global elites manipulating every facet of the world. And this whole thing was built off past paranoid rumors that were used against Jews throughout history. And the narrative emerged that these elites were SAing children and harvested their blood and fluids for the dark arts and planned the destruction of America and the world. Now, that whole thing right there, right, and to your point, is a complete ripoff off the book that came out in the late 1800s, The Protocols of the Elders of Zion. That same book is what Henry Ford based his publication of the International Jew. It's what that book gave rest to pretty much every modern day right-wing conspiracy that's going on now today. That book was used by the fascists over in Germany to justify their actions toward the fucking Jew. QAnon is plagiarism. QAnon is Nazism rebranded. That's all it is. This is nothing new. Unfortunately, way too many people got sucked into it and are still in it. In fact, it's gotten so popular by 2021, over 31 million Americans believe that the government, media, and financial worlds of the U.S. were controlled by a group of Satan-worshipping child abusers who run a global child trafficking operation. That in itself right there is also a ripoff of the Elders of Zion. The globalists, the puppeteers, the puppet masters, good versus evil, child abusers, globalists trying to take over the world. Like the Henry Ford's publication, International Jew, that I just mentioned, that was used by Charles Lindbergh during the first America First movement to try and build his fucking following. And he would use that publication, International Jew, to spread rumors, that Jews were controlling the media and the motion pictures, the press, the government, and so forth. It's the same conspiracies regurgitated over and over with different language and different buzzwords, but the structure and the framework is all completely the fucking same. And what's even more disturbing is that there's now over 42 million Americans who believe that there's a storm coming that would sweep away the elites in power and restore the rightful leaders. That, again, is a ripoff of the Elders of Zion. That's what fascists over in Germany were talking about, to restore the world to its proper order. And this storm was believed to be the final victory of good over evil. Within the QAnon fucking circle, it envisioned as a military coup punishing the guilty while returning the righteous to their rightful place. Again, plagiarism off that fucking book. And this movement absolutely merged with, the American white evangelical faith and has prepared adherents to welcome a violent coup and purging of their political enemies. These are the conspiracy theories that weaponize their following to accept violent action and to accept violence against the government because they think that this is a war of good versus evil and that everything they're doing is fucking righteous. These are the conspiracies that radicalize people to accept violence and to commit violence for their political leaders that are using them as pawns. Just look at Trump, January 6th. He just let them all rot in jail. He could have given them a pardon, but he doesn't give a fuck. And that was right after he stole $250 million from his fucking base to stop the steal, which he spent no money on, didn't even pay his lawyers, and just pocketed all the fucking cash. And because the conspiracies have become so prominent within Republican fucking circles, now they have to embrace these conspiracy theories because their base fucking believes it. And if, a politician runs against it, they're not going to get fucking elected. So now they have to placate to all these fucking psychos. And now there's QAnon fucking believers who are actually in office now and that keep running for fucking office. and wealthy donors to the Republican Party are being able to capitalize on these conspiracy theories by spreading fear of groomers that are preying on children in schools. This is all an effort to try and destroy public education and privatize it for their own fucking well-being. Because oligarchs, right-wing oligarchs, want to privatize everything, get rid of the fucking government as much as fucking possible so they can suck as much money out of all of us. And one of the ways they're destroying public education is by vilifying the gay and trans people in our fucking country and turning them into scapegoats. But now I'm starting to ramble a little bit. But the point that you're making and the point of this video is that Q-anon is Nazism rebranded. And it's the same conspiracies being told over and over again. And millions of Americans are falling for it. And now they're trying to usher in an authoritarian movement because they think they're fighting on God's side. It's one of the fucking saddest things I've watched in my life.